Hey, what's up guys? So today I get to talk to you about one of my grail watches, and that's the Sinn 104, and I got the white dial right here. And it's actually kind of a neat story how I got it. I was trying to flip one of my other higher end pieces, and then I met another local watch enthusiast. We got to talking, some watches exchanged hands, and now I have this piece right here. I've had it for a little while, so I can give you my honest feedback on it. So let me talk about the specs of this watch. And for those of you who don't know, Sinn is a German brand. As you can see, it says made in Germany at the bottom of this dial here. And again, like most German things, it's over-engineered, which is really, really nice to see. I'll talk about that in a bit more detail later. Let's talk about the dimensions first. This is a 41 millimeter case, kind of reminiscent of a pilot's watch, almost a hybrid between that and a dive watch with the bezel. As you can see, nice low profile. It's about 11.5 millimeters thick. From lug to lug here is about 47 millimeters. And then that gap for your bracelet here is 20 millimeters. So the proportions are very nice, and I think it can fit a large number of wrist sizes. Now, of course, you get this beautiful white dial here. I just really like it because it's very understated, super legible, and a lot to do with the legibility is this amazing sapphire crystal, which has an anti-reflective coating, not only on the underside, but on the outside as well. And as you can see, I'm rotating this around here. My studio lights really aren't showing any reflections. If I move in here, it almost looks like in certain instances that there's no crystal protecting that dial whatsoever. So I really, really enjoy that about this watch. And the aesthetics are really nice too. I love the handset. You have these vintage syringe style hands, and the hands and the hour markings along the minute track there, the hour track there, are filled with superluminova, as well as that triangle on the bezel there. And of course I'll throw up a lume shot so you guys can see just how well it lights up, but it's really amazing and it lasts all night. Now with this bezel, it's not your traditional diver's unidirectional bezel. This is more of a countdown bezel, and it's bi-directional, so you can, move it either way. It's 60 click, which is really, really nice. And the way it works too is like, for example, say I wanted a 5-minute countdown. You can see I rotated the bezel so the 5 is on the minute hand, and as soon as the minute hand touches the lume triangle there, I know 5 minutes has elapsed. So there's no play on this, and the bezel lines up perfectly. I really, really enjoy it. Now, some of the amazing features on this watch. Sinn has a German institute, I think, and they fit what's called DIN criteria. So some of those criteria, which is useful, especially for pilots, would be it's low pressure resistant, it's really anti-magnetic, and it's also shock resistant. But on top of all of that, you're also getting 200 meters of water resistance. And a lot of that is how to do with the case design, as well as this crown being a screw-down crown. And you can see the crown is signed. It's knurled really well. And the crown action on it is really good. I'm not going to stop the seconds or adjust the time because this watch has been keeping phenomenal time. This is actually the most accurate watch for an automatic that I've ever owned. It's housing a Sellita SW220-1, which when I think of Sellita movements, I think a lot of times of other watch brands like Oris. And again, this isn't a chronometer certified watch, but it does meet COSC standards. This is only gaining or losing about 1 second per day, which is like amazing. I can't believe it. It's so good. So I'm really, really happy with this. Some people might argue that, at the price point you're paying, maybe it'd be nice if they used an in-house movement. But I'll flip the watch over so you can see the case back, because they also highly decorated this movement. So there is some modification to this movement here. You can see it's got that beautiful classic Sinn sign rotor in gold. And some of the other wheels are also in gold, and they do use blued screws throughout. So I actually really enjoy this movement a lot. And from what I understand too, if you ever had to have it serviced, it wouldn't be that expensive. So as far as the movement goes, you can't really argue with that at all, I would say. I mean, it's just been it's the best performing movement I've had. What else can I say? Let's look at the case design in more detail, because this is done to really high quality. Now, if I had a really minor criticism, I think it would have been nice if they did some brushing or bead blasting, because this pretty much looks like it's polished everywhere. Now, that being said, the finishing on it is amazing. And if you just look at the details, like the bevels on the lugs, which are really nice and prominent and angular, and they drape down really well, so it's super comfortable. I mean, I can't really argue. And then you have the finishing on things like the bezel. Look at the detail on the bezel, how well it's gnarled, the teeth on it, and then you can actually see there's screws in the bezel holding it in place. So this isn't one of those bezels that's just held in place by friction. So if if you push up, you're not going to pop off the bezel. You actually have to physically remove these screws to actually gain purchase to the bezel and remove it. Now the bracelet, if this doesn't come with the bracelet option, there are bracelet options for Sinn. If my other criticism would be this, and again I'm nitpicking, would be I wish bracelets, aftermarket bracelets, weren't so expensive on this guy. If you were to buy the bracelet version of this piece, I think it's an extra $400. Now, it came on this leather strap, and again, I did get the second hand, so it's a decent leather strap. It's been fairly well worn, so I just quickly switched it out for this really nice textured black leather strap from Swiss Reimagined. And again, because it's such a common lug size, I mean 20 millimeters, you can put it on whatever you want, and it's going to look good. So now I'm going to throw it on the wrist so you guys can get a feel for how it wears. All right, and there's a wrist shot for you guys. So as you can see, I think it just sits really nicely on my 7¼ inch wrist. I just love how those lugs drape down. And it's very light. I think it comes in at under 80 grams for the head of the watch. And it's one of those watches where I feel like you can walk into pretty much any situation and just feel confident that your watch is going to perform really well. So I just wanted to give you my thoughts on this piece. It's currently one of my favorites in my collection, but please let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.